Hello, everyone. This is your host, Susan Rosen. And my guest today is Barb Hawken, and she is going to talk to us about menopause and some other issues around that. And I'm going to welcome Barb, and I'm going to ask her to kind of give a little more in-depth introduction of herself. Tell us a little more about herself.
Hey,
Welcome,
Susan.
Barb.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you for having me here today. Yes, I am a mom of four sons, been married almost 29 years. This Saturday, if we make it, that's what we always say. And have been into fitness since I was 17. The bug just kind of hit me. So lifelong kind of anti-ager and fitness person my whole life. And I did take 8 years off in my 40s to homeschool my kids when they were little. Then at 47, I said, oh, I'm joining the gym. I'm getting my body back in shape, which I'm so glad I did before menopause. Took me over a year because I struggled with eating enough, which a lot of my clients do as well. So once I figured out to really eat a lot more, my body became sculpted within months, which was pretty happy and awesome because it's a lot of hard work. And then I started my business 3 years ago. I help other menopause gals, perimenopause to postmenopause, just kind of get through this season of change and get their body sculpted, any desired goal that they might have through fitness and nutrition.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, obviously there are a lot of reasons to get more involved in working our bodies and especially the weight bearing exercise. So that's I know with women, and I'm gonna so this podcast is probably going to be more women focused than normal. I usually try and make them for both, but menopause is one of those things. I mean, men have their own, what is it, andropause, I think it's called.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but people don't seem to talk about that as much as they do menopause. So maybe we can start by talking about kind of baseline. What excuse me, what should people, I'm assuming it actually applies to men as well, what sort of exercise and weight training and things like that should they be doing?
Right. Well, it does start, if you are in your 20s, obviously you should always start any weight bearing exercise to build strong bones and muscles and to keep yourself healthy. And eat a nutritious, non-processed food diet. And as you get into your 30s, continue that because once you enter your 40s, men included, especially men, actually, now that you brought it up, they really start losing muscle in their legs. You can tell in their 40s, we all slow down a little bit, just different systems in our bodies. So it's the weight bearing exercise that will combat any estrogen imbalance when we go through menopause, even starting in perimenopause for women. It's that lack of estrogen, and then you lose muscle mass predominantly in the legs, the upper butt. So that can, go hand in hand with posture problems. And as you get into postmenopausal, then you lose bone density. So we know that just weight bearing exercise versus swimming. Swimming is great for cardiovascular, but it won't help ward against osteoporosis. And so you want weight bearing, meaning strength training is the best, at least 3 days a week, progressively lifting heavier. Men and women, it's the same. You should really train the same, not meaning the same exact exercises, but you should definitely weight train for sure.
Okay. So do you, out of curiosity, do you have something like on your website or
Yeah,
that?
sure. Barb Hawken yes, barbhawkenwellness.com. It's all about what I do, how I help women. Since I am menopausal women's coach, I only do help women, sometimes it's the men in their life that really don't understand what's happening to their wives, and it can be kind of a shock because a lot of gals don't know it's happening either, and it does happen so quickly. Can be kind of stressful on the marriage, especially the lack of libido, which happens with women because of the loss of estrogen. And if they're not on bioidenticals, or even if they are, because sex starts in the brain, so it's kind of a decision. But it can be really stressful, obviously, on a marriage, because it's the man's number one need is sex, no duh.
Yeah.
And so it can be really stressful. So that communication, needs to be hopefully talk through with the husband and wife as she's going through it. And the men do need to have a little extra bit of patience.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yes. Always lots of fun to go through that period of time. Yeah. I won't get into that, but at least not from a personal basis.
Yeah.
So then, okay. Is it possible to work, how can I say this, to actually gain back if you've already started down that osteoporosis, osteopenia,
Yeah.
down that slippery slope?
Yes. Well, because all the scientific studies prove that anytime you do weight train, right, progressively heavier, there's a lot of many different studies show that yes, you can then build back bone density. Maybe not to when you were 30, obviously, but get it stronger. As long as you are continually to work out, as soon as you stop, then of course the building of the bones will not, keep strengthening either. So yeah, you can change your body. I don't know about your viewers, but if anyone has ever watched Dick Van Dyke train in the gym, he's an absolute monster. He's amazing, very extremely inspirational and motivational because he's in his 90s. He's never had any kind of formal training, but he goes to failure on every single lift, which is really what you want to do. I mean, you can't teach that. He's well known, believe it or not, in the strength and conditioning world as someone to like, wow. I mean, these are the people that I'm talking about. My friends who are strength elite coaches are like, oh yeah, Dick Van Dyke, it's amazing. Because again, usually it's the time. I mean, I'm a power lifter, right? I'm a state record holder, and my coach is a 3-time world record power lifter. Okay, these are like tough dudes, and they're like, oh yeah, Dick Van Dyke is amazing because again, no formal training. So to teach, so like for me to teach a client to grind it out, to really get her to get to the intensity that I need her to get to, because she's told me she wants to build muscle. And so if you're just doing 8-10 pounds, okay, continuously, your body won't change. Your body is just going to kind of laugh at you. You have to put it under constant stress. It's pressure. It's like a diamond. But to teach that is a bit challenging. And so even though I train online my clients and they send me videos, so I see that what they're doing and I can tell them 9 times out of 10, okay, you need to go up a weight. Or I ask them, how did that feel? Look kind of easy for and they'll say, oh yeah, it was easy. Because getting a woman to lift heavier is a challenge because she thinks, oh, I don't want to get hurt. I'm like, well, your form is perfect. So you're not going to get hurt, right? You just won't be able to lift it, which is cool. You'll lift to failure. And so to teach that is challenging. And that's why Dick Van Dyke is kind of famous, not for his comedic routine, which we all like, but really in the strength and conditioning world, because he's doing what you're supposed to. Well into his 90s, he just goes to the gym and just hits it hard and leaves. Yeah, it's perfect.
Wow, I had never heard that. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. I'll have to, there must be, are there videos about him online?
Not very many. Because again, it's kind of like, you can imagine if you're in your 90s, you really don't care about what's happening. He does have a social media. Actually, I've tagged him once. But of course, he tagged me. I really doubt he really cares about. Yeah, I was doing something and I tagged him just to kind of say, hey, if you know, are interested on watching really how someone should work out, look at Dick Van Dyke. Yeah, because if you go on his Instagram, you'll see a few pictures of him. Yeah. I mean, I can't
Ah,
see him
okay.
wanting someone to film him in the gym, but there's a few pictures. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll have to go look for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, for
I'll have
sure.
to go look for that for sure.
Mhm.
Um, Interesting. Okay. So when you say there may be a lot of people listening, you know, and or watching, because I do post a video, um, why don't you give a little short explanation of what working out to failure is?
So, right. So working out, you don't have to work out to failure when I
Okay.
say that. Some people do.
Uh-huh.
And as I'm a power lifter. I don't teach or I don't coach powerlifting, but that's just something that I picked up when I was 51. I had never worked with a barbell before, but I wanted to. So in powerlifting, as an example, we go to maxes. You max out twice a week. Okay. So it could be a 3 rep max, could be a 5 rep or 12 rep. So you're going really to absolute failure. Like I cannot, if it's a 3 rep max, I can't lift a 4th rep, which means, oh, that was kind of hard, or it doesn't mean that, or, you know, it was sort of hard. It was flipping hard, right? I literally was struggling like on a squat to stand back up. So that's a max.
Okay.
And that's why I only work out 4 days a week, 45 to 60 minutes. That's it. Okay. And keep my body in really good shape doing that. But that's one way of working out. You don't have to do that to, you know, to be in good shape, to be healthy. You don't have to do that at all. It's what is going to make you be consistent. So it comes down, a lot of people, oh, they get really overzealous. Oh, I'm going to hit the gym 5 days a week to, you know, and then after a while it's down to 3 days. Okay, well, gosh, you're not consistent anymore, you know, and that's why you're not getting, you know, the results. And if you haven't changed your diet based, because you told me you were doing 5 days, now you're doing 3 days, now you're eating all this food. So guess what? You're not, if you wanted to lose weight, probably not losing weight, and you're not sculpting your body, you still have the belly fat. Okay. And so that's troubling. So what I tell people, you have to work out and do something that you be consistent. Having a program designed specifically for you is the best. That's what I do, because you have weaknesses. We all do. I can tell you already, your hamstrings are weak, your triceps are weak, your glutes are weak. Okay. That's why you have lower back pain, you have knee pain, because these muscle imbalances, because as humans, our quads, the front of our legs, will take over for everything. Okay. We're Homo sapiens, two-legged. So we only have 2 legs. And so we will let them, even when we squat, even when we walk, we go upstairs, our quads will do everything. Our hamstrings are really weak, leads to back to really bad posture and low back pain, because our whole torso also is weak, not just the abs. We think about the 360-degree torso that goes around. Think of where your core is, but it includes your back also needs to be very strong.
Mm. No, that all makes a lot of sense. That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Mm.
So if someone does want to start,
Mhm.
right? Um, is it best to find someone like yourself or someone, you know, like you, that's in their neighborhood or at their gym or whatever, to work with them? Is it something that they once they get started going, that they can then continue to do it on their own? Or is it, you know, I mean,
Right, right. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, I recommend always, if you can find someone up close and personable, if you are like 50 and older, because
uh-huh,
you've got a lot of discrepancies in your body. Okay. You may have past injuries. However, here's the problem. I've worked out with a lot of coaches personally, and I've always gotten injured. My husband's gotten injured. It's just because a lot of times the people working at gyms really don't have the qualifications. They have a certificate. Some of them, every once in a while, will have a bachelor's degree, but their whole thing in the gym is kind of like, okay, let me build muscle for this person. I'm not always, but they tend to push you harder than really what your body. They don't have the advanced anatomy. Like my coach has a master's degree as advanced anatomy. He coaches athletes and middle-aged people. He also writes all of my programs for my clients. I was like, okay, I need you coming on to my program. He's been with me for a year. I've trained with him for over 3 years, but I was excited when I could bring him onto my program because all my clients are usually 40s, 50s, and 60s. And so
Yeah.
I don't want anybody getting hurt on my program. And what happens is we also have stabilizer muscles, which nobody talks about, but it's so very important. Like your rear delts, they need to be strengthened. There's just certain areas in your body, these stabilizer muscles, which are really important that help keep you moving and functioning. And so it's important. And so if whoever your coach is, it's important that they ask you a lot of questions about your lifestyle, do an assessment on you. I'm onboarding a gal this week. She's joined my program for one-on-one. And so I just sent her the assessment. It's 7 exercises because I need to know, and my coach, Teddy, he needs to know, how does this girl move? Because people always think, oh, I was an athlete, you know, I was so great, you know, and they think they move better. And they might. It's just there's little things, and that will help us build the program perfect for them. Okay, because like I said, a lot of people think that they are very, you know, mobile, but that's what it's so important for me. We travel the world as a family 14 weeks a year, and my husband is 7 years older than me, and it's like, buddy, you need to be I need you mobile, right? It's very important. I'm a functional trainer, and it's very important, that functionality. It's not a sexy sell. No one really wants to talk about it until they can't move anymore. But once we hit our 60s, mid 60s, everybody I know has kind of said, like my husband is 63. It's like, oh, getting out of bed in the morning. You know, it's that thing. And especially for guys, they do tend to, they age slower. So they're like menopause. It's like, you know, it's not true. It's, you know, getting older takes 10 years. And most guys aren't really going to complain. They're not brought up to complain, right? Any men are our age. And so it's just like, okay, getting older, and they really won't do much about it. They're usually still working, you know, they're very driven in that way. And so they just kind of slowly get, you know, older and maybe a little bit more immobile before it's too late. And then if they hit 70 and it's like, uh-oh, you know, then they start realizing, but it's not too late. It's just, you really got to hustle then. But again, you might not have the ability to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what that also made me think about is, excuse me, is, you know, we had what, 3 years of COVID or so, you know, I mean, actually lockdown part of, right, life changing.
I mean, I'm in Florida, so it really didn't affect us, but yes, the rest of the world, apparently it did. We were locked down for 5 weeks and that was it, but yes.
Yeah. Well, no, my gym closed, my husband's gym closed, not to come back again.
Yes, yes, totally closed for, forever.
Yeah. And, you know, and then you start running around trying to find something else, and all of those gyms are closed for the time being. And, you know, and so I think there's probably a lot of people who kind of got out of the habit.
Oh, 100%.
Going to the gym. Yeah.
And a lot of women, came into menopause during that time, as I did. And so, and now they're struggling because a lot of them did gain 10, 15, 20 pounds for sure. Because there's a phenomenon that happens in middle-aged women, mainly stop working out. They stop moving, not even, maybe they didn't even work out. They just move less. So getting in the quality steps each day, they're not doing that. And so compiled with menopause and the lack of movement, it's been a real challenge for a lot of people.
Yeah. No, exactly. I know we bought weights and a weight bench and a, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And my husband was much better at using it and using the higher weights. I've never gotten up into the higher weights.
Yeah.
which is probably what I need to do. But anyways, yeah, I just, that to me is kind of like a setup for people to get hurt, because then they go back into the gym and think they can just restart where they were. Oh, I was doing 30 pounds. Oh, I was doing 50 pounds, right? And they try and pick that up, and
they probably can, and so they'll put it down. I mean, people, it's pretty, most people actually probably would, especially people our age, they like to work out with machines. And so machines were designed for rehab. And can you get hurt on a machine? Yeah, you can, but much less than, let's say, even a dumbbell or a barbell. So that would be a good place for someone to start, because again, either you're going to move the plate for a leg press or not, or there's every kind of machine that you could ever think. And so you have so much back support and different support when you use a machine.
Okay.
You're usually not going to get, I don't like my clients or me using a lot of machines, because it's just, because it gives you too much support. You need that torso. You need to stabilize your torso and core. So some machines we have to use, right? Leg extension, leg curl here and there and stuff like that. But prefer to do, dumbbells, because you can really angle them in different ways so that you're not overusing the same joint. I don't like, I'm a conjugate power lifter, so we use different, we use chains on my barbell. I'll do bands. We do different grips. Always. It's all conjugates from the Soviets. It makes the strongest people. But in America, we do linear progression. It's the same 3 sets of 10 to 12. So many of my bodybuilding friends are getting hip replacements now because they've been doing the same movement, kind of like a baseball player, right? Tommy John surgery, because you're doing the same movement. Golfers the same. And a lot of weightlifters, that happens too. So you want to, if you're doing dumbbells, change your angle a little bit. That will change what your joint is doing. Really important. Or change to a different attachment. Let's say you're doing some kind of seated row. You could do a rope, you could do a V, you could do a straight bar. There's so many different things, and that changes every angle and joint. Okay, the stabilizer, the ligaments, it changes it all, so you don't get an overuse injury. Really important, especially at our age. You don't want an overuse injury. Oh, my shoulder hurts, my elbow hurts, because you've done something. Too much, usually. Okay, or there's a muscle imbalance. So if you get a shoulder injury, a lot of times, because it's that rear delt that needs to be strengthened, you do that by band pull aparts and things like that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So it sounds like probably if people are interested in getting in better shape as far as all of this is concerned, that they really do need to have someone that they can either talk to or train them or at some level.
Yeah, it's good to have the conversation with someone. If you're brand new, if and I do get clients that have no idea, and they're my age, they've taken decades off, so they forgot everything. Yeah, they are beginner. And so, to have them on their own program is ideal, versus I would not want them just doing any old program. I mean, I do have group programs for girls that they're usually younger and they're used to working out. They just need a workout. It's that type. But if you are really not knowing what to do, then you really need something more personalized, because you can get hurt. You can do just too much. And a lot of women try then to do too much. They'll add the Peloton, or they'll go running or something that would be like injurious to them. I always tell my clients, please don't run unless you're a runner, because the injury, get your steps in. You can walk, because it will also suppress your appetite, and it be a nice thing. And you want movement, because we know that people don't in general move as much, versus, let's say, when we were kids, we ran all around. And so it's really good to get that movement in, that zone 2 cardio. It's really beneficial for longevity.
Okay. So when you say zone 2, what does that refer to? I'm
So
not
that's
familiar
like
with
you
that.
can, right, when you're walking or, mainly walking
Uh-huh.
or biking, you carry on a conversation, but you can't sing.
Right.
So it's a
Okay.
system that, it's that fat burning. So, but it's a
Yeah.
system that we use the most, and you can't outdo. Like you can't do too many hours of zone 2. And
Uh-huh.
so if you follow Dr. Peter Attia or Huberman's lab, they're always talking about different zones. And the zone 2 is really important for longevity. And so as part being an anti-ager, and we are living longer, let's live longer, but like really feel awesome while we're living longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we
Yeah.
need to do. That's why the movement is so important.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Well, and the other thing is too, especially as people get older, it's it's what's the right word? It's a positive thing, especially if you are married, or living with somebody. I mean, and it doesn't matter, same sex or both different sex or whatever. But to have that time, that concentrated time together to talk, whatever, while you're out walking,
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of like having a date and you go out and do it while you're walking around.
Yeah, it's very mind freeing. I like to walk alone, but that's just
Yeah.
me. A lot of my clients do too because it clears their mind, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I did. My husband and I walked by ourselves for years and years and years.
Yeah,
And the last few years we started going
right.
out together. But that's yeah. Anyways, so that's been kind of nice. It's kind of different.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But um okay. So what is your recommendation? Maybe that's not exactly the right word, but um for how women, if they want to start to get into this and start building more muscle, and no, that's not the right way to, but
Yeah, no, yeah. To get
how
stronger
what
muscle,
yeah,
get
um
healthier.
what should they do? What's the best? I mean, go find a gym, go find a trainer first, or what's the
It really
best that
depends
you would
on them,
recommend?
right? Because a lot of
Okay.
my clients are kind of triggered by gyms. They don't want to go to one initially, so they work out at home. And so, like what I do, then I have a nice for them banded dumbbell body weight workout because that's their comfort level. If you
Okay.
are brand new, you don't really need a gym, okay? Because
Uh-huh.
we have to see your balance, right? How balanced are you? And if you've never been in a gym, you might be, oh, I'm not feel comfortable here, So a lot of women like to start off at home, and because
That
I
makes sense.
love it when they do transition to a gym, but they already know the movements. Let's say it's taken them 3 or 4 months of doing the banded body weight, lightweight dumbbells, which you can pick up, TJ Maxx, cheap,
Yeah.
right? It's like anywhere.
Yeah.
And then they have the movement pattern because a lot of gals can't even do a body weight squat correctly. Okay. They might need to lose 30 or 40 pounds that they have, put on through adulthood. And so through diet, very careful diet for them, they start losing that definitely within 10, 12 weeks. They're just, popping off the weight and getting stronger, more confident is what we really want them. So then when they're ready to the gym, if they ever are, some build gyms at home, it's up to them. And then they can now go to heavier dumbbells. That's really what a gym would be. Let's say you invest at home up to 20 pounds because 20-pound dumbbells, because even up to 20 pounds, it's relatively inexpensive. Let's say you have 10 pounds and 2 months later you get 12.5 pound weights, and then okay, this is doing pretty well, and now I'm going to buy some 15s, that sort of thing. And so, but then after that, it's like, I might as well go to the gym. Now I have 25 pounds and on up, plus other apparatus, 45-degree back extension, things now that this person is now mobile enough to do versus at home, initially brand new middle-aged gal, probably has serious mobility issues. If all you've ever done your whole life is walk, then we've got to really, yeah. And you would do that anywhere. Working out in person is very expensive. It's $100. Okay. You're going to go in there and then they will give you a program when you are in front of them. That's it. So then what are you going to do the rest of the 5 days? I'm not sure. What am I going to do? Like, they just don't know. So unless you're someone like me, who's been in this since I was 17, I don't need a coach. I hire a coach for powerlifting, but I don't need a coach to tell me what to do workout. Powerlifting, yes, it's totally different. But most people have no idea what to do. They don't have 1,000 hours to figure it out. It's too complicated. So that's why online is actually less expensive for sure. And you get a workout every single day. You just pull up on your phone and there's your workout, and you go to the gym and do it, or your house and do it. And then, you know, someone like me, I also have live train. If you want to, you know, do it live, we can do that also. But that's the only thing when you have a trainer at a gym is, you know, it's cost prohibitive. I mean, every time I've gone, it was for like a competition, and I go twice a week. It's 200, you know, it's 800 a month. And again, I'm doing my other thing on my own when I'm not in front of him, but I already know what to do. So in 2 days a week, if you have $800, you should do that. but know that he's probably not going to give you any kind of food knowledge, because they're just trainers, right? They're not nutritionists. They're just really not allowed, especially if they're connected with the gym, they're not allowed to do that. And they usually, that I don't know of any trainer that would actually give you a program. Who knows, you know, when you're not training with them, because of course gyms are in it for making money. They're not non-for-profit. And so they want you to be always working out with them. Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. I know at the gym that we started out a few months ago, actually it was towards the end of last year, I guess, that, you know, you get one free training session,
you
know, which I have not done.
Because you feel the pressure probably, because they are really great at sales. Yeah, they're really great at sales. I mean, I have friends that do that. Yeah, they're really spectacular. I wanted to hire a couple. I was like, yeah, they're just so, you know, for a different business, a brick and mortar business of my husband's, like, oh, my husband would love you. It's like, yeah, I mean, there's that's a gym, right? Because they're the way they operate.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, you know, at a certain level, that's fine, because there are people who just walk into a gym and sign up.
Yeah.
And don't know how to use the machines and can really get hurt.
Yeah.
If they try and do that. So having somebody, you know, walk them around and give them a starting thing and show them how to use the machines to do those particular exercises.
Yeah.
You know, I think the gym in some ways is almost doing that to protect themselves. As well, for starting out. Yeah. So especially since they've been trying to get seniors in, you know, they have a special senior rate. But it's it is interesting. Yeah, I had a trainer for a while before COVID, and that was good. I enjoyed doing that. And then COVID hit, and then the gym closed. And there you go. So interesting. Sorry, you've got me thinking of all these different different things.
Yeah, I know.
So okay, so you were talking about do you have like something that people can go to your website and, you know, without actually doing a one-on-one to start with, some sort of a program or something that people can sign up for?
Yeah, sure, I do. So they could go on there. They can always DM me on Instagram, Barb.Hawken, or go on the website, Barb Hawken Wellness, because you can peruse through that. There's different programs they can always just reach out to me because I love talking to people, right? DMing
Yeah.
or on Facebook too, same Barb Hawken Wellness. Because it's fun. I love helping people. I love giving people advice, learning what their goals are, because you always have a goal. It's not that you don't have a goal. It's just trying to get to that goal, right? And the actionable daily steps without certain triggers getting in your way, mental blocks, which is the number one thing. Okay. It's really just a mental thing. I was talking to someone today in the DMs, and she was saying, oh, she doesn't eat enough. And now she's thinking that she can't get tone. I mean, it was, her toned muscle. She said muscle doesn't come on to her. And so I went back and I said, well, yeah, because you're not eating enough. You're not eating enough. You don't, but a lot of women don't understand that. She answered her own question, but she didn't understand that. So yes, you're not going to get the toned muscle if you don't eat enough. However, if you eat enough, don't be scared to get fat. If you actually feed your body enough calories, at least maintenance, at least 1,700 calories a day, then, and you're lifting at least 3, if not 4 or 5 days a week, then yeah, you will get toned muscle. It's not rocket science. It's not that difficult. People think it's difficult because they've watched a lot of social media and they're on there. They get very confused. They eat a lot of fake food, which is very detrimental to your body. And then they just stop eating, and then they stop working out. But yeah, you can go on my website, Barb Hawken Wellness, and I have different group programs as well. But it's best is to reach out to me and we'll have a chat.
Okay. So I will make sure that I get it looks like it's on your one sheet. And you can tell me what or send me the
everything, all the socials. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. All that stuff.
Oh yeah, no problem.
And I'll be sure and put it in the show notes so people can go to the show notes and find out how to get a hold of you.
Great. Sounds perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. So anything else that you want to talk about or tell people, to kind of wrap up what we're
I think we've had a really nice discussion. My only thing is I would love to see more people really being active. A lot of people want to, then they let daily life get in the way. Well, I mean, I can too, right? It's like, oh, I want to get up and work out, and then busy household of 6 people and my business. And then it's 5 o'clock. It's like, oh man, now I got to get ready for dinner, right? It happens. So the best thing is, hate to say it, and no one wants to be a super early person, just get up and get it done, right? Unless oh, I'm going to do it at 2 o'clock if you can. And because once you get in that habit of doing it, even, setting out your gym clothes the night before, getting your water bottle, just being all there and getting those actionable steps, because you will feel so much better. It doesn't take that long, not only to work out, but also to start feeling better. I get women within the first week because I've changed their diet, right? They're so bloated and they're no longer bloated. They're starting to see changes already because of what we're doing. That eggs them on, okay, to want to do more. The more they do it, the quicker the results. And that's what you want.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely, and so much of that has to do with diet as well.
A lot is diet, yes, for sure, as we get older. And I go over that. A lot of people, a lot of people do eat very well. They just don't eat enough protein. That's usually what I find, right? They get tripped up sometimes with a lot of protein shakes and stuff. So I want them to eat real food. But mainly it's, if you're an athlete, then you need to be eating at least 1 gram of protein per day. If you're not an athlete, meaning if you don't do any kind of exercise, then you don't really need it, but you will lose muscle because your body will take what it needs to supply it to the brain. That's the number one thing. And so if you are not consistently putting protein into your body every few hours, then your body will absolutely take what it needs, and it will take from muscle for sure. And that's why you'll see, especially as we're older, that lack of muscle is happening anyway because of the hormones are so low in women and men, also in men.
Oh yeah.
So it's troubling. It's a challenge.
Yeah. 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 Oh no, absolutely. And I think for so long as well, protein had kind of had a bad name, a bad rap with
Yeah,
having
well,
to,
the red meat did for a long time. Yeah, yeah. And so that's
yeah,
predominantly where the
and
best
the
protein.
amount of calories, right? And the amount of calories
Well,
that's
we
in
need the
protein,
calories,
even though
but
it's, well,
in the
yeah, I
90s,
know,
yes.
but yeah, I'm just saying
Yeah, because
it's
in the
not
90s,
necessarily
everything,
true.
right, was everything was low calorie and fat free. That then we all became skinny, right? And that skinny culture, which we're trying to get away from, because most of my clients, when they come to me, they don't eat enough. And and I didn't for a
Yeah,
long time. And that is really causing them, yeah, especially to have belly fat, even though they're thin. It's just because they don't eat enough.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's
Mm,
interesting. It's an interesting phenomenon.
yeah.
Our bodies are quite uh, amazing in the
Yes.
way they react to things,
Yeah.
and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
So, okay, well that's good. And like I say, for everyone listening, I'll put all of Barb's information into the show notes, so be sure and check that out. And you can go to her website that you can find even without my
Yes.
show notes,
Sure.
which is barbhawkenwellness.com, and that's Hawken for
Yes.
Hawken.
Right. My
Just so you
maiden
know.
name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just in case you had forgotten, right?
Yeah. I just love it. I love my name. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, that's okay. I never changed mine, so I
Oh, okay.
still,
There you go.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
not a problem.
Mhm.
So, okay, well, I will end this as I do with all of my
Okay.
podcasts, which is that neither of us are medical doctors, and this is not to be seen or taken as medical advice. And with that, I will just say that I will see everybody next week. And thank you, Barb, for being on the program.
Thank you so much.